Thanks for joining me in my next video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Helps me to make more videos. In this video, I'm going to address the check engine light on a 2016 Volkswagen Passat 1.8 liter turbo. Prior to the check engine light coming on, I did notice that the car was starting to rattle a bit, make some noise. Wasn't sure what it was. I did find performance was lacking slightly, and gas mileage was also not as good as it usually is. So here's the check engine light on. The car does rattle at times when it's just idling or as I'm driving. I'm not sure if you can hear that. So what I'm going to do is connect a scan tool and diagnose the code. This is the scan tool I'm going to be using. I'm not promoting any particular brand, but this is what I've got, and this is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so I've plugged in the scan tool, which is to the ODB here on the vehicle. On this particular model, it's just on the left-hand side, driver's side, underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to scan the codes to see what's going on. The ignition is on. Just ignition, not the vehicle. Perform an auto scan. Okay, I'm going to press the DTC FFD option here. And the codes that are present should show up. There you go. So there's a current code and a permanent code. Code number P0341. And it's the Camshaft Position Sensor A, Circuit Range Performance, Bank 1 or Single Sensor. So that's the issue. And the definition of the purpose of the camshaft sensor is to let the onboard computer know when the top dead center is, and also the RPMs of the vehicle, so it can adjust the timing as well as the ignition. So without that sensor working properly, incorrect information is relayed back, and as a result, you may not get the most efficient combustion. Hence, you may hear some knocking, lack of performance, and poor fuel economy. Okay, so with the hood open, basically to access the camshaft position sensor, it's going to be located underneath the engine cover. So as per the repair manual, what you need to do is remove the engine cover, remove the intake manifold, which involves removing the air filter housing and the fan shroud. So there's quite a bit of components to remove, and if you were to take this to the dealer, they would probably add up all the time required to do that, and just to replace the sensor, and which is basically held on by one Torx screw, which is a TX30. And they'd probably charge you several hours of labor, which is going to probably end up being quite high. The part itself cost me about $56 with tax delivered. That's Canadian. I purchased it from Rock Auto in the US. This is the part that I purchased. It's not their standard one, but it's a little bit better. I tend to just go maybe mediocre when I buy parts, except for brakes. I go for a little bit more. Go for better, higher end. So this is the part number. Okay, that was purchased on Rock Auto. I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Comes with a new ring seal here. And this is where you clip the connector to, and there's the one bolt that holds this. As I mentioned, it's just the one bolt. So we're going to try to take this off without removing all the other components. Some people have done it on the net as well. They've been successful. They do say it's very complicated in the sense that it's very hard to get to, and there's limited space, so you kind of have to jiggy a tool to remove the actual bolt. So let's remove the cover and see what we're looking at. To remove the cover, there are 4 clips, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Simply lift up on the front to pry the clips off and lift up at the back. Okay, the cover's been removed and it's located right here. That's the camshaft position sensor. You can see that down there. And that's the bolt that we need to remove. It's a TX30 Torx bit. As you can see, there's not much room here to put a socket. So this is what we're going to jiggy here. This is a TX30 bit. What you do is insert this bit into the bolt of the sensor. Make sure it's in snug so you don't strip it. And then use a 1/4 inch open end wrench to unscrew the bolt. Okay, so I've managed to put the tool in by hand and kind of just pressed it in with a screwdriver like so. Not trying not to damage anything as I do that. Hopefully it's in, and I'm going to put the open end wrench, which is the 1/4 inch wrench I have. 1/4 inch wrench right here. I'm going to try to see if I can unloosen that. Hang tight. Okay, so I've got the wrench around it, and now I'm going to try see if I can unloosen that. Hope for the best. Oh, I did. As you can see, it is moving. So I managed to loosen it. As you can see, it's loosened. And now I'm going to proceed to remove it. Okay, so I managed to loosen it to a point where I can just get my hands in here now and kind of just continue removing the screw. Not sure if you can see that. I know my camera's focusing on my hand rather than on the bolt, but you can see it's coming loose. So I'm going to continue doing that, remove it. Just be very careful not to lose it. Okay, so I've got this little nifty tool I purchased. It's basically a magnet. It's extendable, as you can see. I'm just going to kind of keep it in there just in case it falls. The bolt falls, it'll catch it. So keep that there. Hopefully it doesn't fall and I lose it, but hopefully the magnet will catch it. Okay, so I removed the screw, and I did use the magnet near the end. I kind of had my hand there unscrewing it by hand, and I had the magnet close by just to catch it, just in case. I didn't want to lose anything. So with that screw removed, we should be able to pry the old sensor off. And with the old sensor off, hopefully I'll be able to then, hopefully there's enough slack here so I'll be able to disconnect the wire from the sensor. So let's put a flat screwdriver in here. Careful not to damage anything. And let's see if we can pry that sensor off. Let's see if I can tell you what I'm doing here. Basically getting my finger in here, jiggling it from this side, and putting the screwdriver over here at the same time. So I'm doing that off camera, just trying to jiggle it out. So I'm going to continue doing that. Okay, so with the sensor out, what we want to do now is basically remove the connector. And the way we're going to do that, you can see that white tab here. We're going to push that tab out in the direction of my finger. Don't use any tools, just use your finger. Push that white tab out. And then you're going to push it in, and while you're holding the sensor and the connector, separate them. Okay, so we're going to do that off camera. Just want to show you what I meant by pulling that white tab out a bit. If you can see, it's separated a bit over here. Let me zoom in on that. Because the tab is out now. So with the tab out, I can press it and then pull the two pieces apart. Okay, so here's the old sensor. It's been removed. I'll put that aside. As I indicated, just going to repeat myself. I like to repeat myself just so it's clear what you need to do. Don't use any tools. You don't want to damage the clip or the sensor or the wiring or anything like that. Mind you, that's the old sensor, so who really cares? But nonetheless, you don't want to damage any wiring. So that's the clip I'm referring to. I'm pointing to with my finger right there. You pull that out, press it down, and separate the two pieces. Okay, so let's get the new sensor and put that in. So here's the new sensor with its new O-ring. Okay, we're just going to, this is what it looks like on the inside, if you want to get an idea how that clip works. And on the outside. Okay, so we're going to put that in. I assume we'll just have to just press it together, and that should do the trick. Okay, so I put the new sensor in. I clipped it. Well, when I mean in, I mean I put it into the connector. And then after I had it in, I just pretty much pushed that clip on the end. I pushed it inwards and I heard it snap in. Okay, so now we can proceed to actually put the sensor back into the vehicle. Sorry for the camera. So I got that in. I'm gonna press it in with my hand. Okay. So the sensor is in, the new one. It's clipped in, it's connected, it's in. I just now need to do the most difficult part, which is try to get that screw in there. So let's see how that goes. Okay, I got it started with my hands. I actually used two hands. I had one finger here, the other finger like that, and I was kind of just like doing it two fingers together. I don't know if I can get it in the camera here, but that's how I had it with my two fingers, just kind of just trying to screw it in like that. And I did manage to get it started, which is a miracle. Usually things don't go this well for me. So let's continue to put that in and see if the check engine light goes away and the code is cleared as well. Okay, it took me a while to get the tool back in there. I used I used a needle nose, my hands, and a whole bunch of just trying different things to get it in there because it is a bit long, so it does tend to touch. So with that in place now, I'm going to proceed to tighten it with my open end wrench, 1/4 inch, and hope for the best here. So I'm going to do that off camera. It's hard to hold the camera at the same time. Okay, so with the sensor back in, tightened up as best as I could, we're going to put the cover back on. There's 4 pins that it needs to go into, 2, 3, and 4, corresponding to these pins right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's just going to press that down, get that cover back on. Okay, with the camshaft position sensor changed, I'm going to start the vehicle, see if the check engine light is gone. If not, I'm going to attempt to clear it. Okay, so the check engine light is still on. So I'm going to clear it and then see if it stays off. Okay, let's go into diagnostics. I apologize for the 2 red dots. They're reflecting off of the top of the this area here. So let's do the auto scan. I apologize. I thought I was recording when I wasn't. So the current code P0341 still came up on the scan tool. I just erased the code, and now I'm going to proceed to start the engine to see if the check engine light is gone. Okay, the check engine light is gone. The car sounds a lot quieter. I don't hear those knocking vibration sounds I was feeling earlier. And revving the engine also gives you a nice clean rev without any backfire or knocking or misfires, which I most likely was getting with the bad camshaft position sensor. So that was my problem. It ended up costing me about $56 taxes in Canadian to replace the part. As you can see, it was a bit challenging with that screw and the space that you're limited to work within. Nonetheless, it saved me quite a bit of money. If I had to take it to the dealer, they'd probably go through the book and go through all the processes and procedures they'd have to do in order to get access to that one bolt, probably costing several hundreds of dollars in labor. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and give this video a like if it's helped you, and leave some comments if you have any suggestions on how to improve or do something a little bit better. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not a pro, not an expert, and always open to positive criticism. Thanks very much. Take care.